So one of the common questions I get all the time is, so Gary, how do I know if I have the right sales professional? So for those of you who are thinking that question, it's 2019. I'm gonna give you 4 or 5, maybe 8, 9 things to think about with respect to the sales talent you have on your team today. And if you don't have it, some things to think about if you're looking to hire someone. So I know it's a bit of a complicated question about whether you have the right person right now because you've already hired them, but it shouldn't be. So let me give you some variables to think about. One of them is, are they meeting quota? That's number one. Now, I'm not going to ask you, are you holding them accountable to the quota? Some of you are, some of you aren't. But let's first ask, are they doing that? Now, let's say your quota is not clearly defined for some of you. I'll give you a baseline, industry standard. 4.5 times their compensation in gross profit. That's what they should be driving. That's the first quota they've got to hit. If they're not doing that, you've got a serious issue you need to address. Now, one of the other things we look for, I'll call it number two, and these are not necessarily in order. We're big behavioral profile folks. We use the DISC profile system. Use whatever you want. They all have similar denominations. So a high D, high I for us is important as a sales professional. We've been disking people for years, over 10 years, all around the world, Australia, UK, and the common denominator we saw with most successful sales professionals is that they were high Ds and high Is. And that meant to us that they could drive and create relationships, and they were driven. They don't have to be pushed every day. Now, they also have to be led, but they're driven. And then one of the other ones that gets caught up all the time is your sales professional a hunter or a farmer? What did you hire? Because if you hired a farmer and you expect them to hunt, and I've done some sessions on hunting and prospecting, it's not the same person and expectations are mismatched. You're going to have an issue. So first look at that as well. Because if they're a hunter, they can convert leads to meetings. They have a skill. They know how to do it. Now, if you're going to convert them from or train them to be a hunter and they're a farmer, you can certainly do that, but you've got to look at that. Next one is, can they conduct a first visit on a new logo opportunity, do the preparation, do the warm-up, conduct the business needs analysis to standard without you as a CEO being in the room or a sales engineer being in the room with them? Can they do that themselves today? Super important. Then, of course, the biggest and the most important one is, can they close business? Can they close business? And I can't even stress how important and obvious that is, because I have folks all the time with sales reps on the ground, a year and a half, 2 years. I've gone as far as 3. Oh my God, but I've seen it, that haven't closed business, and they're certainly not doing quota. So a serious point we've got to focus on. So, and then of course one of my favorite ones is, does a sales professional that you have on your team today hold themselves accountable? Back when I was carrying a bag a long time ago, and I've done 6,000 sales engagements over my history, aging myself, but a lot of them. But when I started out, I had one rule. One was, if I couldn't close business with your solution or your service within 90 days of being there, I would leave. You wouldn't have to fire me. I'd fire myself because I can't make any money. Base salary is not, it's supposed to be designed to hold me until I can start making some commissions. And if I can't do that, if I can't make money off the commissions, I'm not your guy. I will leave. You won't have to ask me to leave. Now, selling enterprise is a different standard, so don't confuse the point. I'm talking about SMB here. Really important. Which drives me to my next and final point is for their compensation, that the checks that you're writing for them, is it 60% of the compensation based on commission and 40% based on base salary, or is it flipped? Think about that. And it should be the other way around. So remember, one thing I didn't say, is your sales professional a nice guy? Is he or she a great, football coach or basketball coach? And it's okay if they are, but that's not what you hired them for. Because if I hear one more time another client tell me, well, Gary, he's such a nice guy. Okay, I get it. but you hired this person to make sales, period. And that's what they're there for. So hold them accountable to that. I hope this helps. Again, Gary Beecham, SBC International. Thank you.